Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 100 of First and Last. Various fanfare noises go off.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like fireworks, but it was just like a shotgun that
You
I
were
cocked three times for some reason.
It worked out. Well,
know how guns work.
Yeah. My name is Josh, and with me today we have Joe.
Hey, man.
And Jimmy.
What is up, dogs?
Nothing much, Spaghetti Jim. You've made it. You survived 100 toiling episodes.
Yeah.
And so did you, listeners. I know you've listened to every single one.
If you've missed any episodes, go back and listen to them all.
Not allowed to listen to this
From
one.
the beginning.
You're
Until
a lot of this episode is not going to make sense unless you listen to the first 99.
absolutely not true. Absolutely not
So
true.
many inside jokes you're going to miss out on.
So many people just were like Googling how did the Big Bang Theory end, and then they were like, what the fuck is this? They hit play. And they're like, what? But before we get into that, Joe, how does this podcast work for the somehow uninitiated? An episode 100.
There's probably a lot of people who just looked up Big Bang Theory. They just need that Big Bang Theory content in their veins.
We're here for you.
Yeah, just shooting it up.
We're gonna get you right into the.
So
Well, yeah, it is basically what this show is.
We're gonna soothe those withdrawals you've got.
So, welcome, fake nerds. We take a TV show and we watch only the first and the last episode. FNLpodcast@gmail.com. And we make some bullshit predictions in between. We
Mine are gonna be on. I'm going for 100 today. 100%.
we critique the plot structure without having seen the middle. What else do we do? We make fun of hair and style choices if the show is dated.
Yeah, and just content in general.
And then we just like bag on the Big Bang Theory, though we haven't seen it.
But we will now. We will now. I'll be honest. We've had this in the bag waiting because I have personally made fun of the Big Bang Theory many times while watching, while doing this podcast.
Yeah.
I feel like I've probably seen an entire episode once.
Yeah. I will say this, going into this, I do not expect this to be a good show. I do not expect to have a good time today. But I am open and I'm ready to be proven wrong, albeit I do not believe I will be.
Does it change your mind if you find out that Chuck Lorre is also the creator of 2.5 Men?
No, it makes it worse, right?
Yeah, he's created all those shows.
So
Grace Under Fire,
so
Sybil.
How much tiger blood
Dharma
is in
and
this
Greg.
show?
It's just pure distilled tiger blood.
He did write an episode of Fraggle Rock, I guess. So
I read that he started out as a musician,
Okay.
and like one of his first TV credits is he like co-wrote the soundtrack for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show.
Like Teenage Mutant.
dang.
Yeah.
All right, that's
I don't
pretty
want
dope.
to. I don't want to give him credit for that.
That was kind of his start in TV.
That's a way better thing to say than 2.5 Men, Joe.
Well, he was a writer on Roseanne a little bit.
And Roseanne was all in all a good show.
Yeah.
Roseanne was a good one. What do we got? The Big Bang Theory was 12 seasons long, went for 279 episodes. It started way back in September of 2007 and concluded in May of this year, 2019, the year of our Lord.
Mm-hmm. And this, like, in a world we live in where we have like Netflix and Amazon and all this whole streaming stuff, like this is one of like the last big TV shows.
It was one of the shows like, it was getting like X-Files numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Like X-Files was getting 12, 15, 18 million people per week watching it back in the day when the internet basically didn't exist at all. And I'm pretty sure the final episode in this show got over 18 million.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so.
Dang.
And that's not that. I think that's Game of Thrones numbers.
Yeah. I guess Game of Thrones is another big one, but that's like premium cable.
Yeah.
Right.
People, you got to work for that one, so you're gonna watch it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Other than this, not a whole lot of other like big. I mean, network shows get viewers, but not in the way that Big Bang Theory has viewers and like it's a part of like culture and people talk about it. There's T-shirts.
Yeah.
Like people don't have like CSI T-shirts.
Shut up, dude. I'm wearing a CS. You say that I'm wearing a CSI t-shirt right now.
No, you're not. Also, didn't Chuck Lorre do a CSI? I'm gonna look that up.
CSI type show.
He did something like one of those. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Oh, he just wrote an episode
Like everybody writes an episode of
CSI.
I'm like reading over your shoulder that the theme music composer is the Bare Naked Ladies. Like, this thing is like genetically engineered for me to hate.
It's one of those, like, you know how there's like Nashville like music writers and they just pump it out. They're like, this is the hit, next hit, here you go, I wrote it. Mm-hmm. Give it to Katy Perry. Here's the next hit. Give it to Taylor Swift or whatever. Give it to who? This is that show, but TV and not music. Like this is like
built in a factory.
This is the machine working at peak, like optimal conditions.
But why does the machine pump out a show about a bunch of like nerdy scientists? Why is that the thing that got big?
Well, because number one, they're all very attractive nerdy scientists. So you're already like, this is already confusing to me. I need to understand. And they're really smart.
Is it because you like to like laugh at them?
I mean, you laugh. Yeah, well, yeah.
And we like feel better about ourselves.
You laugh at Sheldon, I feel like. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, I think there's definitely some of that for sure. Mm-hmm. But some of them, I think you're supposed to, like the main guy with the glasses, whose name I'm forgetting.
The guy who was in Roseanne.
Yeah.
He was like Darlene's boyfriend or something.
I think
Johnny Galecki.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure his name.
Leonard. You're
his
supposed
name is Leonard
to like identify with him and kind of follow him along, and he's like pretty smart, but like everyone else is like crazy smart, but also crazy weird and dorky.
Yeah. So it's like
following him into his world.
So are we him, or are the viewers like
so.
we? Really quick, the show originally centered around 5 characters living in Pasadena, California. Leonard and Sheldon Cooper, both physicists at Caltech, who share an apartment. Penny, a waitress, I believe that's Kelly Cuoco. Mm-hmm. Is that how you say her name? A waitress and aspiring actress who lives across the hall. And Leonard and Sheldon's similarly geeky and socially awkward friends and coworkers, aerospace engineer Howard and astrophysicist Raj. So that's kind of the... Mm-hmm. So it's 4 nerds and 1 hot waitress.
Yeah. And are we supposed to assume she's dumb because she's a waitress and a woman?
Yes.
I think...
Or she's like street smart, you know?
Probably, yeah.
She knows very normal things that you should be able to do as a human being that they don't understand.
I bet she, at some point in this pilot, describes to them that she is street smart and they're like book smart. I bet that is somehow a conversation.
In this pilot?
In this pilot.
Interesting.
I'm going with that. I mean, so we know those. I'm assuming it's the Friends type scenario where there's the hallway and the 2 apartments, and everyone just visits the dude's apartments more.
Okay.
And they do that. Do they meet this Penny? Did she? Who knows who? Is there a new person involved? How's this? Walk me through this first episode.
Maybe she's new to the building. And that's how things come into play, and they're like competing over her affections, but she's not interested in any of them.
All right.
Twist.
Super hot chick, not interested in nerds.
I think
never happened in real life.
I think Leonard meets Penny because I think those are the 2 people we're supposed to identify with, and I think they're like they run into each other in the hallway with their laundry. They're gonna go do laundry. Maybe they actually physically run into each other. Spilt laundry everywhere. Hundreds of pieces of garments.
And then he has to like return her underwear later.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's in his laundry.
Oh, weird.
And it's like it's just the laciest like thong you've ever seen in your life. Something very uncomfortable.
The laciest. There's so much lace.
like for how much little material there should be in that garment, there's just way too much lace.
Oh, she really overdid.
How do you put this on? Is it part lederhosen? It's all one garment. I've talked myself into a corner here.
We're
Somebody get me out.
We're letting you. We were waiting for the
Just
period.
a lacy lederhosen undergarment.
Just comma after comma. You kept going.
That's what I assume.
I mean, besides most of the description of the garment that you did, I wouldn't be surprised if this was an episode of the show at some point.
Yeah.
The whole episode. Just
What
do
did
we
they
do with this underwear?
What did they say about her living situation? Does she have a roommate?
No, I think she lives alone.
think
Well,
so.
they didn't say anything.
Okay.
She's a waitress and an aspiring actress.
So how does
actor?
How does the waitress and the astrophysicist live in the same building?
It's just an apartment building.
Yeah.
I mean,
And just like rent is hard, so people just live wherever.
I don't. Well, I mean, maybe it would.
Yeah. Between
'Cause they're- I mean,
jobs.
Their apartment, I remember seeing like the Leonard and Sheldon's apartment. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So like it makes sense that they live there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
it's
she
a
lives in like
studio
maybe
next
she
door.
lives in like a 1-bedroom or a run down one. They're like, we can give this one to you for cheap.
Yeah, like it used to be just a janitor's closet, but now they're renting it out.
I mean, also movie magic. They
Yeah.
just you live here because we need you to live here. I don't think in the first episode she's like, I got a grant. I made some money from my dead grandpa so I could move to California and become a waitress, and he's paying for my rent. Thank you, dead grandpa.
I'd love if one of the nerds is always just questioning the reality of the show.
This really makes no sense, right?
Oh man,
It'd be pretty
that'd
good.
be too good for Chuck Lorre.
Yeah,
I mean, I shouldn't bet. I'm sure this show's gonna be funny. I'm gonna laugh. People are so into this show. 400 some episodes.
297.
200,000 episodes. That's crazy.
Very few shows went 400. episodes.
297.
Yeah.
So that show is
Still a
like
lot.
3 times as good as this show.
Which one?
the first and last podcast.
Oh yeah. This show was filmed in front of a live studio audience, which I didn't really realize they kind of did that anymore. Maybe that's why this show is so good, because the laughs are
The
real.
last one.
I bet the laughs aren't real.
No, heck no.
I would enjoy going and being in a live studio audience to like for filming of a show. Are you there for like 8 hours? Like it takes more than a day to film a show, right?
Yeah, I think it's at least a few hours. They try to, keep you entertained in between, hype you up. There's probably a lot of alcohol, right?
If they know it's good for them.
Yeah, you got to keep people lolling, especially after you've heard the same joke 3 times in a row.
I'll sit in an audience watching someone film a show. If you like feed me free drinks, I'll be like, I'll loll all over the place. That was great. Beer, please.
I'm thirsty.
Give it to me.
Yeah.
Should we get into this pilot? It's called Pilot, but that's not
course it is.
surprising. Starting off -1 in my book. Big Bang.
Oh no.
You think there's an explosion in this episode?
No.
Or it'd be really great if like the 5 characters like started out together as friends, and then by the end of the episode they were like drifting apart.
Oh, like they're all 5, including Penny.
Mm-hmm.
They're all friends.
Yeah.
And then for some reason they're bitter enemies at the end of the pilot.
Yeah, and then they're drifting further and further apart.
So what the hell is the rest of the show about? How do they go 296 more episodes?
An experiment in meta TV show theory.
You could say the same thing about all of Chuck Lorre's shows, and B, most like network like sitcoms like this that are just very formulaic, they're kind of comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like we make fun of Chuck Lorre shows, but people people eat this stuff up.
That's true.
And it's not that it's you don't expect like HBO quality, but like what you're getting, and the masses love it.
Should we have some sort of punishment for the first person to lol? It's probably gonna be me anyway.
We all take one bite of their burrito.
Eat my food. All right, we're gonna get into the pilot. We'll see you after that first episode of The Big Bang Theory. And we're back.
And we back.
The Big Bang has happened. We are now
Spoiler alert.
We're now in the show. Everyone's favorite show has started.
Mm-hmm.
Big Bang Theory.
How do you think they settled on the title of the show?
I don't know. He mentioned the Big Bang Theory once, but it wasn't like
It's like, he said it.
it was like an offhand.
They were just trying to pick like a nerdy term.
Yeah. Or maybe whatever he said was actually really smart and had something fully to do with the show, and I was too dumb to get it.
I hope they explain at the end. They're just like, oh yeah, our relationship is just like the Big Bang Theory.
When
I have thoughts.
when four nerds and one hot chick come together, the Big Bang.
So the line was that, like, Sheldon wanted him to like give up. They like rang the buzzer to go up to the ex-boyfriend's place. The conflict, like the one conflict in the show, and like the guy's like no, and then Sheldon's like wants him to like give up right there, and he's like, what's his name? Leonard. I keep forgetting his name. He's like, if I would just give up at every little turn, then I never would have found like evidence of string theory in the Big Bang or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like maybe in this show they're gonna come up against conflict and Leonard's gonna be the one to like push it through. Maybe that's what the deal is.
And that's the whole show, and that's why they named
Leonard's
it the Big
persistence.
Bang.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm sure it's deep and clever like that.
Well, the show is probably mostly about Leonard's persistence, because the only thing I understand the show might be about is about Leonard's trying to bang Penny.
He's trying
He's trying to give her the Big Bang.
That's yeah, it's probably more likely that one.
Hey,
yeah.
Penny, I got a theory.
I got a string cheese theory.
I got a string theory. The string is my penis.
It's very small, weirdly shaped.
You'll love it. It's not like your old
string.
boyfriend's huge dick.
Shall I read a thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so a pair of socially awkward theoretical physicists meet their new neighbor Penny, who is their polar opposite. So the two physicists, Leonard and Sheldon, come home to find that a pretty blonde named Penny has moved in across the hall. Wanting to impress her, Leonard invites her over for lunch. During the meal, she reveals that she just broke up with her boyfriend and that he took her TV. Nervously, she asks him to go to retrieve it for her. She asks Leonard while she's naked in the shower. They don't talk about that. Arriving at the man's house, he and Sheldon find that her boyfriend is a hulking brute who steals their pants and keeps the TV, and so they go home in their underwear. Despite the setback, Leonard vows to win her heart.
So, yep.
End of pilot.
The show is about Leonard trying to get the girl who's out of his league.
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of other nerdy dudes from Caltech.
Yeah.
Caltech?
That's the
Is
name.
Is that a school or is that a place of business?
It's where
Is
they
it a technical school?
it's where they
or is
work.
it
So it's
okay, it's where they work.
That's all we know.
Could be both. Who's to say?
Yeah. So the first part of the show, when they like went to like the sperm like bank to like donate, that had nothing to do with anything and really was pointless.
It was big setup for a joke.
For a masturbation joke.
Yeah.
I got Joe. I got
Joe
Joe.
lolled.
I mean, they are.
It's a cold open. It's just a cold open.
Watching the show, they do a lot of setup for jokes. I mean, whoever's writing the show understands that like callbacks to jokes you can have it so many times until it's like funny or not funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think they kind of understand like pacing. I mean, overall it was like a funny episode.
They know how to construct a like multicam TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, they got that going. I can see the appeal to the masses for this show.
Oh yeah.
But I can also see that this is going to be the exact same come season 12 episode final.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, yep.
Yeah. It's perfectly formulated, but then within that, you can really only go so many directions.
Yeah. And like, I guess like another way to say it is that it's perfectly, like, it's really well constructed in terms of just like maximum impact for the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is that the jokes are very broad and almost like mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Like there's like full on
Mean-spirited.
transphobia. like
Yep.
where they talk about like the former neighbor across the hall, Louis or Louise or something.
They fat shamed him too.
Yeah.
Oh man, double whammy.
Yeah, it was just like a hard hit where like they were talking about the new neighbor, and then Sheldon's like, "Oh, you mean better than the 200-pound he/she that lived across the way or whatever?"
Yeah.
And it was like, "Ooh,
Rough.
something weird in this burrito, or that joke just hit me weird."
No, it was weird. I felt that was one thing I always think about when we're going back to watch these like older sitcoms. Not that even like 2007 is that old, but like what jokes are not gonna play today?
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you go back and watch like Friends or anything, it's like, oh man,
Mm-hmm.
it's so much fat shaming and so much like homophobia.
Yeah, I mean the transphobia thing is something specific to, things that we're more sensitive to now, but that's just one example of how most of the jokes in this show are just mean, where it's just like we're just gonna dunk on these guys for being smart, we're gonna dunk on this girl for being dumb.
Right.
Yeah.
They definitely they're using Sheldon, at least for the most part, to like, Sheldon's essentially like really mean.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell, like, I guess assuming his character, he's not like trying to be mean.
Yeah.
He's just like
socially,
he just doesn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're just
Awkward.
gonna use him to be like really mean, to be funny, and
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be like, haha, it's okay though, he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Like, they like constructed a way to like make these jokes.
Well, then they balance it out by someone else being mean to him. Like
Yeah.
Leonard and Sheldon literally like get de-pantsed.
Yeah.
Like literally a bully takes their pants. Like
A super
this happened on a
grown
TV
men.
show.
a super jacked jock guy, essentially. He was huge.
Yeah, I recognize him. I think he's in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for a little bit.
As some sort of giant goon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
kind of alien goon.
So yeah, they have that side plot where Leonard and Sheldon are going to retrieve Penny's TV from her ex-boyfriend. And I thought what was going to happen was that they go to the ex-boyfriend expecting like some jerk, but it's some like nice nerd.
Yeah, I could have saw that happening too.
And so like that's a gateway to Leonard being like, "Oh, I do have a chance with her."
Yeah.
But then they just went with Jock.
That would have been smart.
Well, I bet he has a chance with her now too, because now she'll make jokes going forward like, "Oh, I'll go on a date with you because you're so not like my ex-boyfriend who
He's
was
like a
super
sensitive
hot
man.
and like and ripped and stuff, and you're totally not."
Mm-hmm.
Like that weird like, these are mildly good qualities for you, but I'm gonna make them sound like they're shitty, and I'm also gonna go on a date with you. They did make Penny dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't get quite. I didn't even get street smart from her.
No, just dumb.
Just dumb.
I was reading a thing about I was criticizing the show for like it seems like the joke is that unless you're just straight up average, like you're just fuck you. Like you're either too smart or you're too dumb or you're too whatever. Like I'm just gonna
Yeah. Don't set yourself apart.
yeah.
well,
from the crowd.
Well, at least she's really hot, right? You know.
Yeah, if you're hot, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if you're hot, like we assume that you're dumb.
right.
Yeah, you better be dumb. You gotta have balance. You can't have too many eggs. You can't have too many things going for you.
That basket will overflow, and you'll get dumb.
Chicken in your eggs.
Yeah. I don't know. There's a part in the first segment where they're at the sperm donor clinic or whatever. And Leonard is trying to talk to the receptionist, but she's doing her crossword puzzle. And then he like reaches over and like solves a bunch of it for her, which in my head I was like, oh, that's like good TV show economy, where in this one joke, like A, it's a joke, and B, they're showing us that
That was like
he's
the first time they showed like he's smart.
He's smart, and he doesn't understand social norms.
Right.
I'm just like, wow, they just like, it's a dumb joke, but they wrapped it up in one thing. But then right after that, they go, I can't remember which one of them, but one of them says, hey, this is the smart people, high IQ, like sperm donor clinic, right? And I was just like
because they
like there was no other way to get that point across. Like,
Well, then she was like, if you got to ask that question, maybe you shouldn't be here.
yeah. And it's just like, that's the only way that they figured out how to get this joke across.
Yeah.
Well, they still got to play.
If you didn't get that first part, here's for the rest of the nation watching to understand what's happening.
Well, I think they do that because they obviously make like science references which I mean may be true, may not be. They could just be like, it could be like Star Trek shit where they just say stuff. Doesn't make it's not real, but they like have Star Trek speak. I'm sure it's probably have like they probably have like some like
pick up some power converters.
They probably have some like PhDs that are probably actually hired on for the show.
They
like
keep track of things.
Like
probably just Maya
to help
and
the writers.
Bialik.
Well, she wasn't on the show now.
Yeah, but she could have been a consultant.
Maybe. But
you don't know.
I don't, and neither do you. But what was it? God damn it, Jimmy! What was I saying? I really don't know. It's over. Some
of the things might have been fake, and some of them might have been.
Oh, they just say really smart like science stuff, and it's funny because I would assume, including me, I don't want to assume you guys didn't understand everything they said, but like they were like made like, oh, it's blah blah blah, it's like blah 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 science shit, and it's like. Yeah. No one knows what you're saying. Literally 99% of the people watching the show don't actually know what you're talking about. Right. They might understand like the general reference maybe, but like I don't understand the sign. I don't understand what signs of string theory within the Big Bang Theory is, and that was like the easiest thing. So I'm It's interesting how they mix that in to there. It's like I don't know who that's technically appeasing, or it's just to try to keep
to feel smart,
just to keep showing the audience that hey, they're really smart, because they have to keep saying super smart
also,
things.
They watch Battlestar Galactica, so they must be nerds.
Yeah. Well, they have to say they're smart, but then they also have to show they're also nerds. Because you can't be one or the other. You got to be both.
Star Wars shampoo and conditioner.
And it's like a particular piece of like nerd, or it's a vision of nerds that like doesn't really exist, where it's like they're socially awkward but harmless and just want a bone but don't talk to women, but they have interests. It's like a weird bubble of like,
but only half of them want a bone, really. Leonard wants to bone. The Howard, the like emo nerd, I don't know, like the 70s emo nerd, he like wants to bone. Sheldon like apparently just doesn't care at all about that, and Raj can't even talk to him.
Yeah,
so maybe Raj wants to bone, but
I don't know.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like a weird like comic book character version of like a nerd, where it's like it's cleaned up so that they're not that weird,
right?
But they're also like none of like the good qualities exist either. they're just people to dunk on.
Yeah, I mean, do you think a lot of the people are like, maybe at least for some people, some of the actual like, I like watching this show because these people are so weird and I don't get them, and like they're almost like making fun of the main characters like along with each other. When they make fun of Sheldon, they're like making fun of. They're like, ha, yeah, fuck you, Sheldon.
Yeah, like I'm not like that fucking nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, I could see that being part of like some people like liking the show. It was like, good, I can make fun of this person.
I feel like, yeah, a lot of the appeal is you see yourself as Leonard, and at least you're not fucking Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Leonard can, in probably multiple terms, be the everyman. He's really smart, but he at least is like, ugh, Sheldon. Forgive all of my friends. I'm trying to be normal. Show's making people more terrible. Awful. As far as a pilot, I mean, it introduced everybody fine. I guess it gave us all that stuff. We understand. I mean, really, right now, as far as I think, there's new girl moved in, womp bang, new girl. Welcome to the show. That's what the show's about.
Also, nerds.
Yeah.
The end.
Nerds. Yeah, I think it more or less sort of just sets up the world for you. Like, here are the type of people you're going to hang out with. Here's the type of jokes we're going to make. There isn't much in terms of plot, but it's like, yeah, we're not going to have a plot, really. It's just, we're going to hang out with these people. I mean, these people might bone. We'll see.
It went for 12 seasons. It's not like they had a tight 5-season storyline going on that they were like, we got a story to tell. We're going to make a sitcom for as long as possible. So I feel like it gave us as good of a pilot as probably could be. Apparently, this was the second pilot produced for the show. A different pilot was made in the year before, but it never aired. It was substantially different with a couple different people. The only main characters that they kept were Leonard and Sheldon,
Mm-hmm.
the same actors too.
Mm-hmm.
And then they rewrote the whole thing again, and this is the rewrite of the pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And they liked that one.
Yeah, I saw it. I saw that description briefly, and like, there's 2 different female characters that they had.
One's named Katie. Katie was replaced with Penny.
Yeah, Katie, street-hardened, tough-as-nails woman with a vulnerable interior. And then the other one, Gilda, a scientist colleague. So, like, 2 very different characters than what we ended up with Penny.
Gilda.
I feel like those characters maybe are more interesting, but maybe they had to go with more of a Penny-type character to give other people a way in, I guess.
I mean, probably easier to write.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, like, less energy to write it with, like, one hot, dumb person and this, like, 4 nerd dudes. Than having 2 women that have multiple levels of feelings and thoughts. And
that's true.
Literally.
It's tough when you have to, like, write for women. But
Yeah.
if they could just be sex objects...
Yeah,
that makes it easier.
That almost reminds me. There's the Seinfeld episodes when they're writing their pilot, their Jerry pilot, where George and Jerry are writing it, and then they're like, oh, they're writing the pilot. And they're like, oh man, we have everyone good. This is all great, but we haven't introduced Elaine yet. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. Elaine enters, and they're like, they all pause. And they're like, what the hell does a woman think about? Like, they were just like they have no idea how to write for. They're like, what do we do? So that's a good example of this. They were like, 2 women. That's too hard. We can't do that.
It is interesting though that they tried to go that route to start.
Mm-hmm.
That they were like, let's give like some women characters with some like meat to their character, like stuff that we could dig into season over season, and then it all just got literally dumbed down to Penny.
Yeah. Let's put it in this empty vessel. Should we do some predictions?
Yeah.
Good. Mine are all correct.
Does everybody have that they're leaving the apartment?
No.
Okay.
Ooh.
Well, I have that they're leaving the building. Everybody leaves the building.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't say that at all.
I thought that mine would be a lot of the same as you guys, but I have that the elevator gets fixed because this episode they were taking the stairs and there was like some caution tape over the elevator. I feel like that's a recurring joke.
I don't have that either.
I have that Sheldon cries. Sheldon again is doesn't really have much emotion and doesn't understand human interaction, but I think they break him in the finale and he cries.
Him.
And then I think at the end of the show they do like I was trying to figure out what to call it, but like a where are they now, where they like show text of like this person is like the dean at MIT and this person is an astronaut.
Like the end of the Sandlot.
Yeah, like this person and this person finally boned.
Oh yeah, little closing montage.
All right.
Little wrap up.
Well, hey, I didn't have like any of those.
Okay,
Very
right.
different.
What did you have, Josh?
I had there's a wedding.
Yeah.
Because I want 1 point.
All right.
I think the gang gets stuck in a room.
A room?
Yeah, I think they're just like
You
stuck
think this is
somewhere
a room
Oh.
episode?
And then they have to like
for a little bit.
What are those
reminisce.
called?
Bottle episode.
A bottle episode. You think it's a bottle?
I think they get stuck in a room. I think the bare naked ladies are in this episode.
Oh my god.
Much to Joe's dismay.
or at least like that main guy.
Here's man.
For those uninitiated, somehow bare naked ladies wrote the theme song, which is now Joe's favorite theme song of any
Theme song
show.
of season 4.
You walked into
happen.
the other room like when it started, and then you like walked right back out to like watch.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss the BNL.
I gotta get this. And then my last one is I believe they mentioned string theory again.
String theory, but not
think
Big Bang.
I think they just keep fucking talking about string theory and this whole. I don't know. They said it like multiple times. In this
Did they?
episode.
Oh, I didn't notice that. The only thing, I guess I didn't catch most of their references because I didn't understand them, but they did have stuff that they alluded to. Well, like they talked about MySpace.
Yeah, it's 2007.
So in what is this? 2019. It just ended, right? I'm gonna talk about Instagram. I want an Instagram reference. Maybe a Twitter reference. Okay, anyway. Number 1. So all of my predictions are based on this.
I'm just thinking that everyone watching is like, I got Twitter. Yeah.
Yeah. Like and subscribe, guys.
Like in 2007,
Hey,
they were
we
like,
have Twitter too.
I got MySpace. Sheldon's
FNL
got
podcast
MySpace.
at twitter.net. Also, what was their like fashion sense in this?
Nerd.
Okay, but it was like
It's like 80s
late.
nerd.
It was
kinda,
like
right?
yeah, it was like a different era, like
Yeah.
pop punk nerd.
It was like
he had a
someone-
Flash T-shirt on.
Like Chuck Lorre just watched like Revenge of the Nerds and it's just like, we'll just make it look like that.
I mean, I liked it. I just don't understand what they're going for. Okay, and it's just specifically Leonard and Sheldon too.
Mhm.
No one else was really dressed.
Well,
in that.
Howard was just weird.
Howard was just crazy.
He was
had
in, like, a
Ninten-
jumpsuit.
Nintendo game
Belt buckle.
belt buckle.
And that hair.
He was like in what like
Some crazy hair.
Kevin Arnold wore on the first day of school. In the first.
They just look like the kids from Stranger Things.
Okay, so all my predictions are basically based on sitcoms like this. So it's which the only plot is just who's in a relationship
Mhm.
and with whom, because that's what I'm realizing all these shows are. So I think Leonard is with someone, but I don't think he's with Penny.
Ooh.
Maybe they were at one point, but they've like broken up, but he's with somebody else.
I like want to put money on that being wrong. That's so wrong.
Dang it! You think he's with Penny?
Oh, for sure.
All right.
I just think that's too big of a risk for the show to take.
it's a long. It's
Yeah.
12. How many? It's 12 seasons.
Mhm.
Yeah, so they can break up, get back together,
Yeah.
break up, get back together.
That's true. Okay. So then my number 2, I think Sheldon is actually with someone. I think that's kind of the like, well, like, whoa, he's like no emotion Sheldon. He's got a lady friend.
I kind of assume all the nerds have like girlfriends.
Just like by season 12.
Just in 12 years,
run out
they
of other
all
plot.
all the nerds get like are like banging hot chicks because obviously
Yeah, 'cause
that
that's
makes
what
sense.
Sure. Okay, and then number 3, I also think someone's getting married. Because that's just what you do. And then on number 4, but Howard and Raj are still alone. They're still like they're doing their shtick over there.
Okay, so they're still single boys.
Comedic relief. Yeah. Yeah.
So only Sheldon and Leonard have lady friends
Oh, man.
or partners. I don't know. Maybe Sheldon's a gay boy.
I would guess that they're all paired off except for what was the foreign guy's name?
Raj?
Raj.
Yeah, I think they keep him as the sexless foreign guy.
Oh,
Dang.
Yeah.
That's his trope.
Yep.
Sexless foreign guy.
he's probably like the nicest
the
one of them
Fez
all. He
of
doesn't,
the-
he doesn't
Yeah.
make fun of anybody. Like
Mhm.
He is just kind of like the Fez right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sexless foreign guy.
Yeah.
good luck, Raj.
Oh, his name is Raj.
That's not a Chuck Lorre,
Yeah.
is it?
No.
Is that 70s show Chuck Lorre?
No.
I could see it, right? It's like the same. It's just formula.
No, man. That 70 show's awesome.
Okay.
Can't possibly be
All
Chuck
right.
Lorre.
We'll
It's
see if it holds up.
awesome.
It
See
had
if it holds
Ashton
up.
Kutcher.
That's
Yeah,
right.
man. It had the cooch.
Okay,
So-
let's
so we call-
let's just
Man, Ashton Kutcher and like Mila Kunis like got together in real life. That's crazy. They dated on a TV show.
Yeah, they did.
Isn't that how a lot of
forgot she
actors
was
do
on
it? Gotta meet him on set. All right, we're gonna watch the finale of The Big Bang Theory, which there was 2 episodes on the same day, but they're both named different shows. They weren't part 1 and part 2, so we're
Mhm.
only watching the last one based
Yeah.
on very scientific first and last rules that we created in
Mhm.
the first episode of this
The
podcast.
Stockholm Syndrome.
That's what it's called. We'll see you after that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have finished the finale of The Big Bang Theory.
We did it.
It delivered. The bang was big.
We finished watching at least 200 episodes of TV.
Can you imagine if we actually sat there and watched the whole thing?
Of every single one of these shows, or just this one? This one would have been trying enough.
This one, yeah, would have been harder than some.
But we did it. Do you got a write-up for us?
Yeah, I do. I don't know. Okay, I'll just read it. Bernadette and Wolowitz, that's Howard
Yep.
and his wife, leave their kids for the first time. Penny and Leonard try to keep a secret, which is talking about their pregnancy.
Penny pregnant.
And Sheldon and Amy stick together. And Raj makes a new friend as the gang travels together into an uncharted future. Dun dun dun. So that doesn't really say much.
Yeah, that's like a teaser description.
So Sheldon and Amy win a Nobel Prize in physics, and they all traveling to Sweden,
Stockholm, Sweden,
together for the ceremony. And that's why it's a big deal that Howard and his wife are leaving their kids. Penny and Leonard are trying to keep their secret of their pregnancy. Raj sits next to Buffy
At the ceremony.
at the ceremony and on the plane.
It's
Apparently.
like she's on the plane. Sarah Michelle Gellar's on the plane.
Oh, I didn't see her there.
Well, you didn't see her because he like showed a picture of her, like to Howard on the plane, and he's like, "Does this look like the girl sitting next to me?"
Uh-huh.
And
Howard's like,
and
"No."
He's like, "Buffy?" He's like, "No," and then it turns out to be her. But then she goes to the
She's at the ceremony.
At the ceremony?
Inexplicably.
It would have been funnier. It would have been funny then at the end when they like did the outro where the bare naked lady man sang the theme song acoustically when they're all just sitting on the couch like eating food.
that
If
was
Buffy
great.
was also sitting on the couch like eating food,
Yeah.
been like,
just
oh.
pan out a little bit farther and she's there.
Raj hooked up with Buffy. She dumped Freddie Prinze.
Yep.
Because isn't Sarah Michelle Gellar married to Freddie Prinze?
Junior.
Mm-hmm.
The second.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Is she still? Who knows?
It's Sheldon and Amy that are winning the Nobel Prize.
Yeah.
And then the whole gang is going to Europe. But then on the way there, they all get mad at Sheldon for one reason or another. Like
For being what he's been like for probably the whole...
their entire relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the culmination of
It's,
that. His self-centeredness.
Like Sheldon finds out about Leonard and Penny's pregnancy and like reacts like in no sort of way to it, and that makes Leonard mad.
Well, he was worried that she was like sick, and that would get him sick for his award ceremony. And then he's like, "Oh, she's pregnant. Well, I can't catch that." And
Yeah,
it's like,
and he's like,
and
"Fine."
that's it.
That's the end.
And then when it's like Howard and the other lady, I don't know her name,
I forget.
Bernadette,
yeah.
they're like worried about their kids, and they're gonna go tell Sheldon that they're leaving, and then Sheldon again reacts in some sort of way, and they're just like, "Oh, well, then we're definitely mad at you and leaving."
Yeah.
But then they all decide to stay because they're good friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sheldon, during his speech, instead of talking about his accomplishments, talks about what good friends they are.
And that stuck you right in the heart feelers.
So he gives this speech, and then they cut to, like, in the opening credits, there's like a montage of stuff going on, but then it ends with them like eating Thai food on the couches, and it was just the shot of them eating Thai food on the couches, but then the guy from the Bare Naked Ladies singing like a slow acoustic version of the theme song, and then it ends, and I was like, oh, that was really nice.
Yeah. That was good.
It's a really, really cool way to like stick that ending.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the whole speech thing. It felt like just not like an inappropriate time and place to be doing that to me. It was like, I'm sure this is like getting everybody who's watched this show because like he's finally not being like self-centered for probably the first time ever. But like, you're accepting an award, like just accept it and walk off stage and then tell them.
What do you think? You think he
separately.
understands how that works?
Yeah.
Based.
I mean, but like also, I think the part that's weird about it to me is like, why do they need to build in this manufactured conflict for him to do that, right?
Yeah, right.
Like you don't even need that. Why not just have them?
He's done enough already
been done.
to apologize for.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm saying. Is like,
Okay.
you know, he can still react the same way, and they could just be like, "Oh, that's Sheldon. He'll never change." Blah blah blah. And then when he gives a speech, he gives this nice speech about his friends. Why does it need to be like a weird like thing where like, oh, we're all of a sudden mad at our friend that we've already like paid to go to this trip to Europe for? Like,
I mean,
obviously you're not leaving because you're just mad at him.
Right.
I mean, I just think it's just. I mean, it's just probably it's just basic TV
Because that's
like.
that's what the
Yeah,
formula says. You have to
conflict.
build in a conflict within the friends.
I mean, especially in these kind of shows and in even a lot of movies, like it's a thing that makes me angry when I watch like movies in particular, where they like say a thing and then a little bit later they're like, and hey, we're going to do this thing we talked about. Remember the thing? And it's like, I'm watching this movie. I'm paying fucking attention. Like,
Right.
give me like some agency that you think I'm like not an idiot. And they're not doing that in this show.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. Like they're like, we're making sure this show works for the lowest common denominator. So instead of him just obviously being like, I had a great time and I've learned some things and this is it. They have to. He has to get his friends have to be mad at him.
Yeah.
So then he has a reason to do it. Although
Because-
obviously it'd be fine for him to do it then.
Yeah, because you have to. The viewer has to go, oh no, but I love these people. Are they gonna be mad at each other forever?
Right.
Yeah, the show's gonna end. They're just gonna be mad
And then when they pull it all back
for
together,
eternity.
then you feel especially happy about
They
it.
end the show
Yeah.
and everyone just goes, so they ended it and everyone's just mad at each other? That'd be amazing. Hey,
And it's like, you know what, Sheldon, you are an asshole.
end of show.
I maybe would have liked that a little better. This felt a little forced to me.
Would have been funny.
It felt a little bit like Chuck Lorre was like, okay, they're like, okay, what are you gonna do for the finale? It's like, okay, so we're gonna have like there's gonna be like a big ceremony. And they'd be like, oh, like we cannot do like another wedding ending. They're like, no, Nobel Prize. That's it. Yeah, they won the Nobel Prize.
Still for both of them.
And
they're
they're-
both gonna dress up.
It said, it's their wedding, but
It was never gonna be a wedding. Never said wedding.
They're
You
both
said
gonna
wedding.
do vows.
Take their turns giving speeches.
they I'm looking at the subreddit like with the discussion for this last episode of
Yeah.
the Big Bang Theory, and apparently did a couple things. Apparently this was the first time we saw the Wolowitz kids.
'Kay.
Oh,
Bernadette's whatever. So I guess that was fun for people.
they were just talked about. What a couple of them
They were like old.
were big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seasons ago, old.
Apparently Sheldon, when he was listing off everyone's names, like Raj, whatever, doctor, whatever, stand up. I don't think Howard was a doctor,
He's an astronaut.
but what it sounds like is he was an engineer, and he kept calling himself doctor throughout the show, even though he wasn't one. And then so for him to be called like astronaut, because I thought he was a doctor, I just assumed they were all doctors.
Yeah, I assume they all had PhDs.
And then so
Yeah.
my question was, I guess if I was a doctor and an astronaut, you can't really say, hi, I'm Doctor Not Astronaut.
Doctor Not?
Doctor
Oh, yeah,
Not.
you should definitely go with
Okay,
Doctor Not.
Okay, well, I fucked up and said what you should go through.
Yeah, that's better.
You can't go as Astronaut Doctor Howard, whatever. But Doctor Not is the right way. So I would pay.
Man,
But
new
so-
Halo name. Call it
Doctor Not.
new
So
profile name.
and then the other one is, I guess you never know what Penny's last name is. And
Oh,
Then when he
so they
said-
finally said her last name.
no, they said her married name to Leonard.
Oh, well, yeah,
But that wasn't her last name through most of the show, I'm assuming.
right.
So they never revealed her last name, which is like, okay.
It's like Penny Hitler.
Yeah, her last name was Hitler.
Yikes.
It's just it's not her fault. Her parents just really should have changed her name. Hence why she never told anybody.
Yeah, she's a fan of history.
Hmm.
You know, that was it. That was the show. It seemed like they set some of this up in the second to last episode because it started off with a 2 months later.
Yeah.
So maybe they set up everything that was going to happen in this finale, like the Nobel Prize and them getting pregnant, to just tie into this last episode.
Could be that they just aired two of them and then just to start this one immediately
Just time
after the
jump.
next one to make that was their whole connection. 2 months later.
That last episode was called The Change Constant, so it doesn't help me know what it's about. It was on the same night, so
I bet you as viewers find out in that first episode that they're pregnant. I bet that's definitely a tie-in.
Yeah.
So that means she's 2 months pregnant. I need to look at. So I've been like just flying through Friends because too many people of my friends and family have ridiculed me for not understanding their constant referencing.
Friends reference.
And Phoebe is pregnant and she can't fly with them when they go to Ross's wedding in London. But I'm pretty sure she was pretty pregnant. But maybe that's not even a thing anymore. Maybe that was like in the 90s. They thought that's a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that there was a pregnant while flying thing. I guess I always thought that you try not to travel
Like
once
pressure.
you're like close to the end because you want to like make sure to be by your doctor in case anything happens.
That makes sense.
But otherwise, I don't know.
I'm reading what happened in the episode, the sound the same night. Apparently, we dodged a bullet because it was a clip show for a little bit.
Nice.
The episode opens with a short montage of clips from the 12 seasons.
Nice.
I like how you're looking at the Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
And under the description for each episode, it also says like how the title ties into the episode. Like not even the Wikipedia could like give an ounce of agency to like the viewer. It's just like, let me explain to you what this episode title means.
Penny, change constant. Penny pointing out to Sheldon that the only constant in life is change. The Stockholm Syndrome. Sheldon thinking Penny is ill on the flight to Stockholm to reference the Stockholm Syndrome.
Wait, how does that reference the Stockholm Syndrome?
Well, it's just a pun.
Oh.
Stockholm Syndrome is not being
Stockholm
sick.
is where they're going.
Like that. But
Well,
Penny being sick on the way to Stockholm.
They'll have a
Lord.
little bit of Stockholm with
Goodness.
Sheldon where like he's terrible to them, but because they've been with him so long, they just kind of accept it.
Yeah, they're all literally just his hostages.
Yeah.
Stockholm Syndrome is
I
that
think
they're
that's kind of the
still
reference
just
too.
friends with
But that's
him.
not what Wikipedia says, so
That's funny. I kind of wondered. I mean, obviously this whole thing with like Sheldon, they're playing off of like he's on like some sort of on the spectrum, you know, like. But do they ever reference that? Do they ever? I don't know.
Or then get him some help or support
right,
deal with
right.
human interactions.
go to
Probably not.
Go to a psychiatrist.
Right. He even, like Amy's like, oh no, they just like tolerate you, and he's like, is that what you do? And she's like his wife. He's like, yeah, sometimes.
I would love
But that
it,
would
just,
be
like,
something.
the credits just roll after that.
Oh man.
or if they cut to like the sad version of the theme song, but it's just him sitting and eating by himself.
Just oh man, metal hanging around his neck.
There's a spin-off
Eating some
show, and
Fruit
it's just
Loops.
called Sad Sheldon.
Sad Sheldon, young Sheldon, sad Sheldon.
Just yeah.
This show's gonna be
man.
milked for all its.
Well, you
all
know
it's worth.
they have that spin-off Young Sheldon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I'm confused because like they make him look in the like I've never seen it, but they look in the ads that he's like got this like bow tie and he's like super like fancy like dressed all the time. He's got to be dressed a certain way. But then fast forward to the beginning of this show, and now like through the series finale, Sheldon's just in DC comic shirts nonstop. So I guess they've got a place to go with that and young Sheldon.
That's his growth.
That's going to be well, obviously he's just the same as a kid as he was as an adult. So how are you going to advance any sort of plot?
Wow.
He sees Suicide Squad for the first time and he's like, that's my fucking shit. DC all the way.
That movie's terrible.
It's pretty bad. And they're making a second one, aren't they?
Yeah, but maybe that'll be good. That's how they get you every time.
Yeah, but maybe.
Yeah, but maybe that one will be good.
Yeah, but the sequel though, guys. Sequels are always better.
It's gotta be better. They'll learn from their mistakes.
I like that when Sheldon's wearing his quote unquote nerd clothes, it's like pristine like DC comic t-shirts.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a particular superhero. It's just like, nope, just all of the logos of all the DC comic superheroes.
Well, he had two different ones. It was all the logos in one, and then the other one was just like the
Justice League, yeah. The Super Friends.
They can't even bother to like make him into like a particular superhero. It's just like I googled nerd shit, and this thing with lots of logos came up. Put it on him.
And now with like Google, like now that's all that comes up. So I just keep buying.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard of this Batman. You know, Batman's weird. No one likes Batman. It's give him a Batman shirt.
He was wearing specifically a Flash shirt in the first, like the whole episode of the pilot.
Flash is his favorite because he can run fast.
Should have been a prediction I had as a callback.
Could have been. I mean, maybe he wears that exclusively, except for like at work and special occasions. He probably wears.
Yeah, I guess he was wearing like a tux in this.
Yeah, I mean, he understands that he's got to wear a tux.
I bet there was
accept a Nobel
I
Prize.
bet there was a DC shirt underneath that tux.
If he knows what's good for
Or
him.
underwear at the very least. Superman.
Nailed
Probably
it.
Superman underwear.
All in all, you guys watching this show?
It's pretty much what I expected. I'll give it that.
Yeah.
It didn't. Yeah, I mean, it didn't disappoint, and it did what I thought it was gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's probably good for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not a bad show. You get what you get, and if you like what is happening, then it's a show to continue. But it didn't really change from first to last. You know, not much. I mean, it probably slowed down. Like they got relationships and kids and stuff.
Yeah. Except for Raj, again. I should have made a prediction about him being the sexless Asian.
Dang.
Yeah, you talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
He had a dog.
That screwed me.
He had a dog.
Yeah, what was that whole... There was literally like a 1 minute long scene with another comedian dude who's in a lot of stuff. I never know his name. And he's just taking out Raj's dog for a walk.
Well,
he's taking care of the dog.
Take care of the dog.
Cinnamon.
That was my favorite scene. That was super funny.
It was like it was so short, and then it was like never referenced.
Because like Raj is saying bye to the dog,
standalone.
and then his friend is like, "Okay, now where's the closest store where I can get a dog like this if it dies?"
Yeah.
And then he's like, "I'm just kidding. If it dies, I'll tell you." That got me. Just give that guy a show.
That guy's great. He's in isn't he in Master of None?
Is that same guy?
Is it too early to talk about that show?
I mean,
Never too late.
All right. After the whole Aziz debacle is what I mean.
He's fine. He's back.
He's back.
He's got a Netflix.
He said his apology.
He's back. Yeah, I'm not gonna watch the show, but
I'm still curious as to like who like. There's a lot of people that watch this show, and I feel like it's not necessarily nerds.
Yeah.
Like
my parents loved this
yeah, like
show.
all of our moms love this show.
Yeah.
So it's just old people watching this show.
I mean, there's a lot of 30-somethings that also have like 3 kids, and they can't go do anything.
I have a theory.
This is all they have.
And this is what they got.
I have a Big Bang theory.
In the world. Hey-o.
That it's not really about what people like about the show. Isn't necessarily the nerd shit so much as it's just like easy jokes, and it's just well constructed like situational comedy.
Yeah.
And there's pop culture references, but it's not necessarily like the physics stuff, but it's like, oh, they reference Star Trek or Star Wars, and I like that stuff.
It probably makes people think that they are getting smart humor, right? That
Yeah,
probably
it's packaged up to feel
that feels
smart.
good. Yeah.
I mean, this show's polished to shit. Like it's it's a well manufactured like.
I read a
product.
comment somewhere on the internets that someone had made the observation that it's like kind of like Bizarro Simpsons, whereas Simpsons is like a lot of times it's really smart jokes like dressed up to be just like, you know, lowbrow cartoon humor, but it's actually very smart. Whereas like the Big Bang Theory, it's a lot of like references and stuff, big words to make it seem smart, but it really is just crude TV humor.
Right. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Flip-flopped it.
We'll see in 20 years if the Big Bang Theory had an episode where they like predicted the future, like 20 times. Like you can look up like all the weird Simpsons things that they like said, and like they're weirdly coming true now. It's terrifying.
I bet this show gets a lot better when Blossom enters in. When
Mayim
Bialik.
Because she's like a nerd character. Is that her deal? Is she like Lady Sheldon essentially?
I wonder if she's like in the unaired pilot, if she's like what that fourth with the other gal is. Like,
I mean, do you?
Nerd friend.
I don't know when she even comes into the show. So.
I don't know. I think she's in for several seasons.
Well, there's 12, so she could be in a lot of the show.
I bet she's in half of them.
There's also another female character, and I don't know what her deal was. Like
the one that had the kids.
Yeah,
Bernadette.
She had glasses, which makes me think that like
she's smart.
So
she's
yeah,
smart.
she's probably smart.
She was a doctor.
Okay, yeah.
Right.
She was married to an astronaut, apparently.
I remember at one point there's like scenes that where it's in like the like cafeteria at work, and there's like, and you see a lot of like, I feel like these people all just hanging out at lunch.
I mean, I kind of think they all work together. They all work at Caltech,
Cool.
which is the California
Institute of Technology.
Yeah, something like that.
Ooh, I think she was on a lot more than.
I mean, I don't care how many. She was in one, and I saw it, and it's the only one I'm going to see.
I'll never come back for it.
She was in 203 episodes.
Blossom was?
Yeah.
So she
2010 to 2019.
She missed the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
Probably came in on like 3 or 4.
We should just do a bonus pod with like all 3 of our moms and have them talk about why they like this show.
Yeah.
Let's get the other side of the story.
What's up with this? Why is
That's
Big Bang
not a
Theory
bad
your
idea.
favorite show of all time?
It's just 20 minutes of them just saying Bazinga over and over again.
We never heard of Bazinga, did we?
No.
No.
Wah, wah.
Man, that would have been a good prediction.
Too bad.
Well, obviously not, because we didn't hear it. But
All right. Well, that's been episode 100.
We did it. We should have got a cake.
do
or
we talk
something.
about our predictions?
No, we gotta
I
do
don't think
predictions.
We did our points
Well,
yet.
I'm so.
Spoiler, we didn't get any points.
I got
Hold on.
a point, I think.
Joe, you go first.
Everybody's leaving the building. The elevator gets fixed. Sheldon cries. The end of the show has a "Where are they now?" So none of that. There's a chance of him crying.
The
There was a
elevator
chance.
was fixed.
Was it?
Yeah,
Remember
used
they
it.
used it.
Oh, they used it. I get a point.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
was-
shouldn't have said anything.
yeah.
There was a whole bit that they like couldn't fit in the elevator with all their stuff, and then they just sent all their stuff down on its own.
Yeah, which bums me up because I thought they were gonna like jam like 2 people in the elevator and then they were
Get
gonna get
stuck.
stuck in it, and I was like, someone's gonna get stuck in a room.
That would have been a classic sitcom.
Yeah, it would have been
Situational
It would have
comedy.
been low hanging fruit, which is just renamed The Big Bang Theory for 12 seasons. I think okay. So there was a wedding. No, the gang gets stuck in a room. So close. The bare naked ladies are in this episode. No, but I did
No.
really think that when they were doing the bare naked lady theme song, acoustic theme song right at the end, I was like, we might see this guy play guitar.
Yeah.
We might.
That'd be
That would have been
Amazing.
very Scrubs. If it would have just appeared.
And then they mentioned string theory, and I realized like halfway through the episode, I was like, I haven't been paying attention to string theory, and I was like, nah, they didn't say any.
Yeah, they
didn't say
definitely. There's really wasn't physics stuff.
No, so nothing.
Considering they won a physics Nobel Prize, heard very little physics. They were making a model of some sort of DNA strand or something, or what would that be?
Of an advanced human.
Mm-hmm.
Making some.
You're making a
molecule
fake DNA strand
model.
of a monster alien from the future.
A
Oh,
Navi
okay.
from planet Pandora.
Nice. I said that Penny and Leonard were not together, and they most definitely were.
Mm-hmm.
But I said Sheldon was with someone, so I got one, and then someone gets married. Nope. Howard and Raj still alone.
Mm.
Howard, no. Raj, yes.
Raj has a puppy.
Raj is a pup.
No one's alone with a puppy.
Are we to assume that he gets together with Sarah Michelle Gellar at the end too?
I can only assume that. I have to. Of course.
Like to assume that?
Have to do it.
Does he have like a Buffy obsession throughout the show or something?
We don't know.
Who
Joe?
doesn't?
I don't know.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, I mean,
Am I right?
he knows what's good for him.
Am I right, Internet?
Go Buffy. What a great show. Well, that has been episode 100.
Hey,
we did it. We appreciate everybody for sticking around for all 100.
Yeah.
On to 100 more. They've made at least 100 more TV shows,
I don't
right?
think there are.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
shoot.
Like a day.
All right.
500.
We're just gonna have to start doing the reboots of every show that comes out
Right.
Yeah.
Veronica Mars just restarted.
now. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. I never watched it originally.
Oh, well, probably first and last that eventually.
Yep.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for Veronica Mars. Probably not coming next week.
We could do like a whole like spin-off pod that's just like all the extra content that all the streaming services are doing now. Some of those shows are great. Like Amazon's got some good stuff now. Man.
Spin-offs on Amazon?
Like just like they have their own original content now.
Oh.
Like besides just all the TV showing like being thrown at us on TV, all of the streaming service have original content.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that's where the money is. You think that'd be
Go
expensive?
watch The Boys on Amazon Prime, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a good show. If you like superheroes and
finish
you
that
like
up.
watching people explode.
And you like boys.
And you like
Oh,
boys.
God.
Well, this is we've now officially overstayed our
All right.
welcome. If you would want to spend some time rating stars for us,
Rating the stars.
rating the stars, go into a field, scream up into the stars a number, and then say first and last at the end. We'll hear it, and we thank you. If you want to hit us up and do a show suggestion, tell Joe a compliment. Is that how you say words?
Mm-hmm.
You can hit us up at FNL on Twitter. We got a Gmail at FNL on Gmail.
on the AOL.
And we have a MySpace Music.
We don't.
Oh man.
We don't. But that's it. Joe, say goodbye.
Later, Dr. Knots.
That's fair.
Dr.
I did it. I said bye.
You did it. All right, everybody. See you later. I'll see you next week. Bye.
No.
It's the 100th episode.
Fine. Thanks for listening.
There you
Bye.
go. Bye.